The fifth agent is going to have couple of additional capabilities. One, it can get you responses from the large language model. Then you're going to attach a knowledge resource within your SharePoint, not one document, like multiple documents. So it has to reason over the document to give you the specific answer. And it is going to have that additional instruction. In this example, we are going to play a game. We are going to add that module into the agent. So the gaming module also be part of it. So adding a bit more complexity in the agent creation. Now this time we are going to add a custom knowledge source. We will do two knowledge sources. One, we will add a document, or I will show you how we can add a SharePoint repository. Then see if we can push it further to use another scenario to add a graph grounded graph connection as well. So let's create an agent. Just for the interest of time, I'm going to quickly add the agent, and I'm going to give the instruction we have given to the game agent. So this has all the game element, and this has all the other previous elements as well. I'm going to click send, and it is asking what should I call. So I'm going to call it, what was the previous name? We have garden basic plus game. So I'm going to call it, so we have the basics. So I'm going to call it garden pro. So I'm going to call it as garden pro, which is going to have both the game element plus an additional grounding with the extra knowledge source. So while that is there, if I go to configure, we have an ability to add the knowledge source, right? So I don't have the knowledge source yet. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to change the icon, give a proper icon. And now let me show you how you can add a knowledge source for this. So first, I'm going to go to SharePoint Admin Center, or just go to SharePoint. Make sure you have access to create something in your SharePoint. Within SharePoint, you can either go and attach any document what you have in your SharePoint. For this exercise, we are going to create a brand new SharePoint site. So click on create a new site. When you try to create a new site, you have two options. One, a team site or a communication site. A team site is where something you would do to keep something private for yourself or for your team to collaborate within your a smaller group. A communication site is when you create for a broader audience or a organizational wide information, like your HR website, policy website, your intranet site, things like that. For this exercise, we are going to use a team site. You can choose any of these template to make it pretty or navigation friendly. For this exercise, I'm going to choose a standard team. The template is going to look like this. It will only have one home page. It's all fine. Use this template, give a name. So I'm going to call it as Garden Tips Repository. The name is available. You can, if you want, you can give a description. Click next. Sensitivity labels. If it is confidential, you can apply a confidential label. Settings, I'm going to make it as public so anyone within the organization can use it. Click on create a site. Here you have an ability to add members into the site. So who do you want to give access to? So I'm going to give access to few members in my organization. You can make somebody an owner or somebody a member, so members can view and look at the content in it, but owner can modify the site permission and things like that. So these are all completely optional. Okay, I'm just showing you. I could have easily put the content in a SharePoint site and created that as a knowledge source, but I just want to show you some extra steps on how to do that. So now you came to the SharePoint repository. Go to the documents tab. I'm sure because it's a brand new site, this is empty, but I have few documents which I'm going to use it as a knowledge source. So let's go to the documents I have. You can see that there are some common plant list. So let's open the document and see the content. So you can see that here I have like some common plant details like rose and what are the care tips. Lavender and like all sort of that. So these are some custom tips not coming from internet. I built it. So if you're an organization, you have some custom IPs, you can attach that. So how to heal a plant. So let's see what it comes up with. So I have some information on how you can heal a plant. These are all custom information. Some basic aspects of gardening and maintaining healthy garden. Some of the techniques you can use. Pest control, organic and chemical information. And the fourth document is some information about home gardening, flowering plant and edible plant, herbs and things like that. This is quite a lot of information, but it's not coming from internet or large language model. So I'm gonna copy this document and upload that. Copy the document and upload that in the document repository. So in this library, what it is happening right now, it is uploading the document, and soon this document, all the information will be used or indexed in the Microsoft Graph. So anybody who asks any question related to this will be going to the search or the semantic index, and it can identify the meaning behind it, and it can provide the much better results. Now let's go back to the home page. So this is the page we want. So we need the absolute site URL, that is like the not the just the document URL, but the whole site information that is better for adding as a knowledge source. So I'm going to copy that link, just keep it for my reference. I'm going to open a OneNote. I'm going to open a notepad and going to keep the link here. So now let's go back to our Copilot. So here we have the instruction, we have all the things including the gaming instruction in the new agent, which is the pro version. And here I'm going to add one more customization. Click on browse, click on more places. Because I haven't used this site, it is not showing me in the list of available sites, so that's okay. I can always go to more places and search for garden. Maybe it will take some time for it to populate under this particular page. We'll come back to this later, but doesn't matter. So because we have the URL, all I have to do is go to my notepad, copy the URL, put that URL here and click on create. So now it is creating the agent, but this time this agent have a bit more additional capability. It can ground this question in this SharePoint online document. Now I can click on go to the agent. Now let's ask some question and see if it is grounding from the document. So I'm going to ask few questions. Let's see the responses. What we are trying to find is the response slightly different from the previous responses we used to get. So it looks like the response is coming from the large language model, because if I go back to the basic and click on new chat and ask the question, if I compare the answer, it is kind of giving the same answer on both. But if you look at the configuration, so let me go and look at the configuration to make sure everything is in order. I go back to Pro and let's scroll down. Yes, we have the knowledge source as SharePoint. Maybe it takes some time to pick it up, but it will definitely pick up. So maybe we can actually do one thing. I can go back to the SharePoint. Let's go to the SharePoint and look at one of the document and ask a question specific to that. We're going to the SharePoint. Let's go to the documents. Okay, let's open this document. The document is called the most common types of plant in a home garden. So I'm gonna use this and ask the question. I'm going to go back to the Garden Pro. So this time I'm going to click on new chat. I'm going to ask a question. What are the most common types of plant in a home garden? I'm sure LLM will also respond, but I'm trying to see if it is picking up from the document. All right. So it gave me it gave me an answer, but you can't see that it is coming from the document. It is still coming from the LLM. So what we can do is we can probably fine tune the instructions. So I'm going to go back to the instruction, go to configure, and at the instruction, I'm going to add one instruction. I'm telling something called always first refer to the attached knowledge source to provide answer to all garden related questions. So that's a new instruction I have given, because when we created this particular instruction set, it never had any line saying that there is some knowledge source we are attaching. So maybe this will help. Rest everything is same. I'm not modifying anything. Only thing I've added is always first refer to the attached knowledge source. And I'm going to update it and click on go to agent. All right. So now let's test it to see if it is working. So I'm going to use one of the prompt. Let's pick this one. What is the best way to improve the soil quality in my garden? So you hit enter. Hopefully this should be picking up the details from the document, not from the large language model. Right. So yes. So if you look at it, the response what we got is slightly different compared to the previous one. And you can see that after the end of each response, there is a citation saying that I got this information from basic aspect of gardening and maintaining healthy garden. So this is how you can attach additional knowledge sources in SharePoint and provide clear instruction on how to retrieve that information. So, and towards the end, you can see that there is a document which is referring as well. So now if I go back to the basic and click on new chat, oh, this is pro. Let's go to the basic. So this is Garden Basic and this is Garden Pro. So we are asking the same question at the both the places. Let's run this question first. I'm going to copy that question. Let's go to the basic and ask the same question. What is the best way to improve soil quality in my garden? So of course it is going to give some information from large language model. It is telling add organic matter and things like that. That is good tips. Here in the pro, we specifically told to look at the knowledge source for answer. If it can't find anything there, then large language model can create. So now let's ask the question. Here you can see that the answer is slightly different. So it has 5 tips starting with testing, amending the soil. In this one, it had 7 tips, but it is coming from the large language model. But the answer is slightly different. So if you are trying to create an agent, what I am trying to showcase here is the different capability, what you can do. So each one is doing different activity. And the basic one doesn't have any sort of gaming things. But if you look at the pro one, even though it provided the answer, but towards the end, it is asking, hey, would you like to play game? So now see if I can push it. Let me see if I can push it a bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and customize this agent a bit more. This is basic. I'm going to go create an agent, search the pro. What if I want to add both the answers? So what if I want the response I got from basic as well as I got the response from the pro? I want both in the answer set. Right now, I only get the response from the document when I ask it. But the thing what I'm trying to create is let's provide this answer as well as what if I want some tips and tricks from LLM as well. So how can you tweak the large language model? So for that, I'm going to tweak the instruction. So let's come to the instruction part. I have added 2 more instruction here. I'm going to add 2 more instruction. I'll read it out. All right. So I'm adding 2 more instruction. These 2 are the instruction. The first instruction is the same, which is like always refer to the attached document and provide the answers. That is cool. This new 2 instruction I added is 1, provide answer in 2 sections. That is the next instruction. Another instruction is first section title as pro member tip. So anytime when they answer, they should have an heading saying that pro member tip and provide the answer from the attached knowledge source. So provide the answer from the SharePoint. The second section title as general tips and provide the answer from the large language model. If this instruction work, we are going to have 2 sections for each answer and each answer will be unique. One from our document and one from our large language model. So let's click update, click on go to agent. Now let's see if I can compare with basic. So let's click on new chat. So this time I'm going to ask a new question. So I'm going to ask, how can I get rid of pest in my garden? So let's copy that question and let's go to basic and I'm going to paste that question. So first ask basic. How can I get rid of pests in my garden? I'm sure the large language model will give me a response. You can see that there are like 5 tips on how to get rid of the pest. Now, if I ask the same thing in the pro, we should have both the answers from the document and the large language model. Perfect. So let me quickly show you something what happened, the magic. So if you go at the top, you can see that because I asked to create a new section called pro member tip. So you can see that there is a pro member tip and it tells that, hey, where it is getting the information, which document. And from that document, it gave you few tips. That is quite cool. Another one, it is general tips. That's from the large language model. That's how you can further fine tune the instruction to make the agent behave exactly like how you want it to behave. Now I feel like the game part is like missed out. It is in the corner. So I just want to probably give another heading. Say that play a game or something like that. Let's see if I can push it a bit more. Let's make a couple more modification to further refine it. I'm just going to go back to the Pro edition. In this, compared to the previous one, I just want to make the title bold heading style. So in the previous example, you would have seen, if you want to see, go back to the video. When you see the response from the agent, you can see that it is written as general tips and there was additional details on it. It was not like a proper heading. So I'm just going to push it little further. I'm going to say that, hey, can you make this answer, but the first section make it as bold heading title, and similarly the second section also bold heading title. Because I mentioned like the game was like so far hidden and nobody can find it, so I just mentioned one more ingredient. I called it as 3 section. So make the answer in 3 sections. The first section for pro members, second section for general tips from the large language model, and the third instruction I'm going to give is, I'm going to tell third bold heading title as play garden games, and I told it to add some emojis as well in the game section in the end. So hopefully this is going to listen to all of that instruction, and let's go and test it. I'm going to click on a new chat. Let's ask for some soil improvement qualities. All right, so the result what we are testing here is, does it have the heading? Yes, this is exactly how I wanted. Not like before, pro member tip, which is bold, and then we have general tips, and finally we have a third section called play games, play garden games, and with it added some emojis as well. This is quite cool, and we have the reference document where it got from. If you look at it, we don't have reference document on the second section. General tips, you don't have any reference here, but on the first section you have these citations. You know that where this information is coming from. So I could go on and push this further. So that is quite cool. I'm going to click on new chat and let's add it or pin it to our collection. So now we have basic plus game, and now we have added a bit more sophistication. It's called Garden Pro. Now let's go and create Garden Pro Plus.